Hello everybody and welcome back to part 2 of the Railroad Tycoon 3 Go West campaign level Connect All Cities challenge. So, if you haven't watched part 1, I implore you do so. If you have watched part 1, then you'll know that we're basically doing the first level of the campaign of Railroad Tycoon 3. As you can see, it's Go West. Not a very difficult scenario, even on the hardest difficulty, which is hard, not expert for campaign. But, with the added caveats, or added difficulty, self-imposed, it's entirely optional, I've decided to try and connect to every single city on the map, preferably before the expiry date of 1856. The game started in 1840, it's currently 1848, which means 8 years have passed, which means I've got exactly 8 years left, which is perfect timing for part 2 to start, because it means I'm exactly halfway through my time limit. Saying that, the company is making quite a lot of profit, even in normal economy status. I can't issue stock, I can't take out a bond because I've got 10 million in bonds anyway. My bonds are reasonable, 9.7% interest rate average. And obviously we don't care about personal net worth, so there's no point paying dividends, and we might as well just issue stock as much as we can to raise as much money for the company, to provide for expansion and construction and new trains and stuff like that. In the meantime, I did a bit of stuff off screen, on pause, just literally looking at my railroad and looking at trains and stuff. And I think basically I just need to put some dining cars on these trains. Like this one's getting a load of passengers, but there's no dining car. So we may as well put a dining car on that one. I don't have to put a dining car on every single train, but when we're getting so many passengers, it kind of makes sense to just use the dining car anyway. That train's actually not hauling anything, weirdly enough. Manchester to Worcester. One thing I did think about as well, and this might be something that I'll do later on, is actually just simply connect Springfield to Worcester directly, and then I've got a sort of loop here, and it just means that I can get from like Springfield and Keene, and then later Charlestown and Waterbury maybe. Depends how I want to connect to Waterbury. And also, how do I want to connect to Charlestown, because I might end up doing it from Keene, I might end up doing it from Manchester. But it just means that those cities are better and more easily connected to Boston. I might do that, I might not. I just realised that if you take a train from Poughkeepsie to Albany, there's actually no maintenance facility. And I'm also just noticed that Poughkeepsie only has a small station. Admittedly, that lumber mill only spawned in 2 years ago. If I make it a medium, will that cover the whole town? It will. Should do, anyway. Or it would do if I built the station properly. I'm actually gonna... I could reload the save and just... yeah, I think I'll just reload the save. Reload the save and just make it large, because I haven't actually done anything that you haven't already seen recorded, so it's just literally adding a few dining cars to some trains, and then make that a large station. Yeah, I didn't do anything off screen. You know, all I did was just look at the situation. It was all on pause anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'll put that car on the train. I'm also wondering about upgrading some of these trains to Baldwins, because the difference in passenger revenue is only going from like 110 to 90%. But for that, I get a train that is $3,000 a year cheaper to maintain, and is more reliable, faster, better on hills, more powerful, and has better fuel economy, so it's kind of all-round better at the cost of slight drop in passenger income. So I think I might actually start upgrading some of these trains, especially like the freight trains, to Baldwins. I don't think I've got enough money to do them all, but it could be worthwhile to do some of them at least. And also, that's the default skin of the Baldwin. I think I mentioned in the last video that I've got a few different skins thanks to mods. They don't do anything, they're just aesthetic, but I think that is the default Baldwin. It's quite a nice looking locomotive. I mean, it's classed as unappealing, and it is designed for freight, but I think it actually is a nice looking locomotive. And there are some unappealing locomotives in this game, so you do tend to find that early locomotives are very attractive to guests, and I think that's just simply because, well, two reasons. One, there are a lot of passengers in an early game anyway, because passengers don't really have an alternative way to travel. It's either that or, like, you know, take a carriage or a stagecoach with a horse and cart. Maybe like a canal if you wanted to. Whereas later on, obviously, people have cars and trucks and buses and aeroplanes. But I think the second reason as well is just simply because it's like this brand new thing, you know, it's like, wow, these trains, I've never seen one of those before. So they're obviously therefore more appealing. And I think that's basically it for dining cars. This has also actually given me an opportunity to just look at all my trains and just notice that I've actually got a hell of a lot of trains. It's train 1 and train 2, just upgrade those to Baldwins. Because train 1, I know it was low on oil, but it had a big chance of breaking down. Okay, so we've actually unpaused the game now, and we've got quite a bit of money. With regards to sort of like industries and stuff, obviously, you know, there's a lot of passengers, there's a lot of mail. What I don't really understand about this game is that it says that there are 101 loads of passengers on the map which can be delivered at existing stations and track, and 205 loads not shown on the map. That I understand, that's undeliverable. They lack a full route to where they want to go, but I swear I've had situations where I've had every city connected on the map, and it still says that there are undeliverable passengers and undeliverable mail, and undeliverable troops. Maybe not the troops, because troops are quite rare. But even with every station, even with every city connected, with a station owned by my own company, it still says that there are undeliverable passengers. So, if there's any Railroad Tycoon 3 expert out there watching who can answer that question, I would like to know. I imagine it's probably something to do with what I was describing earlier, where it's like, say you wanted to go from Springfield to Boston. There's no direct route, you have to go from Springfield through Hartford. You can't just go from Springfield to Boston directly. Now, as far as the game is concerned, yes, I can get a train to go from Springfield to Boston without stopping, but it still has to sort of go through Hartford. But anyway, that's enough rambling for now. With regards to expansion into other cities, I still need to get to Altoona, which is going to be a massive pain in the arse, but it does offer that nice $300,000 bonus for connecting there. Admittedly, I'm probably going to need like a large station to connect there, but it still makes it still means I actually get some money for connecting to it, and obviously it's required for my silly challenge. I'm going to save the game. Right, let's see if we can't connect over to Altoona. I forgot the name of the town temporarily, so that's not good. Right, let's try and do it A, as cheap as possible, but also B, as flat as possible. Hopefully we can do it without any kind of... Well, we should be able to do it without a tunnel. That's a nasty bridge. Also, I think I said this last video, but the fact that you can't build unconnected track in this particular scenario is really quite annoying, because it does mean that when building things like bridges, I basically have to build them from one side. I can't just like start building from over here and then join it from like over here to my track. I have to do it this way. Which is annoying, but you know, you just kind of have to live with that. Now that is some very steep track. Can I not get anything better than this? Am I going to have to use a tunnel? I mean, the Baldwin is actually very good on slopes, but, you know, it has its limits. I don't want, you know, 8% gradient or something like that. That's just silly. I realise that this is probably not going to be a very well-used line, unless, like, for some reason Altoona is hugely profitable. It has some kind of cargo that means that I can ship things all over the place. How do I do this, actually? This is proving to be a lot harder than I was expecting. Do I have to go from this side of the river? In which case I've got to build a bridge sort of over here. I mean, I could build a lengthy bridge like that, but then I'll have to deal with, like, 6% gradient and even, like, 8 and 11 there. Admittedly, it's only for, like, 1 square, but it's not really what I was after. It's not what I want, to be quite honest. I can live with, like, the occasional bit of, like, 6%, but I don't really want much more than that. But I don't think there's any way to do this that doesn't have stupidly steep gradient. I'm thinking if I can somehow build up this slope here, but then that requires me to start building from the other side of the river, which means I have to basically cross the river and do something like this. That works. Okay, that looks kind of bad, but it does actually work. And also, as I explained in part 1, a lot of this is just going to be like me testing the limits of what works, because obviously I'm having to navigate through terrain, so there's going to be a lot of... yeah, that's actually really nice. I mean, it is a wooden bridge, and it's not the most nice of bridges. It's not the nicest of bridges, I suppose, but it does work. Now the question is how do I drop down? But yes, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, a lot of this game is basically trying to find the limits of what works, and often I'm surprised at actually what is allowed and what does work, you know. You kind of find, actually, with this game that you would be surprised how effective the track can be, because you look at that and you think, well, you know, other than those 2 squares, I managed to actually get up there with a maximum gradient of like 5%, which is about as sort of, you know, it's probably about as good as it's going to get, but a gentle incline when otherwise faced with a seemingly impossible gradient, that's actually pretty good going. Saying that, the final hurdle might be a bit of a challenge, because I might have to deal with some 6% gradient. I also don't have enough money right now to finish construction. I think I'm going to leave it at that, and then when the game unpauses I should be able to get a bit of money. The other alternative is that I just try and build a large station, and that actually possibly covers the entire city. I mean, yeah, that actually does cover the whole city. So I could actually just leave it like that. Obviously I need 200,000, but there's nothing I'm missing there, I don't think. Because that's all the city. I mean, there's a sheep farm and an iron mine, or coal mine, but obviously I wouldn't be able to connect to cover those anyway, so I might as well just build a station like that and leave the track like that. and then that's Altoona connected to. I also want to issue stock when I can. And there you go, you see, I've just been given an extra 100,000. 300,000 for connecting to Altoona, and 200,000 cost of the station itself. And then, I'm going to save the game, once again. So yeah, we've connected to Altoona, that's really nice. That wasn't too difficult. I do need a maintenance and service. I think if I build them around about here, that should... Yeah, that still leaves me with a nice gradient. Because the problem is that when you build like these maintenance and service stations, they sort of flatten the land around them, which, if you're not careful, it can massively mess up your track. But I've actually been left with some really nice track, with quite a lot of flat track over here, a couple of 2s and 3s, and a couple of 4s, a bit of 5 around here, and there's 1 square of 6. There's also 2 squares of 6 when you come over here, but, you know, other than the fact it's a wooden bridge, that is a really nice piece of track. As for Altoona itself, there's not much in the way of industry, but there are a few passengers, but nobody wants to go to Altoona, but we can connect people going to Williamsport, Newcastle or Scranton. The mail wants to go to Scranton and Elmira. May as well go to Scranton, although actually there's a lot of people that want to go to Allentown. I think Allentown would be the most profitable, and also there's probably some stuff we can send over to from Allentown to Altoona. Damn, where's Burlington? Right, Burlington to Allentown would be a really good train, ignoring the fact it's like absolutely miles away. Because a lot of wool and stuff we could ship over, or clothing. You see, the thing is even though clothing is produced in Allentown and Burlington, because of the price differential, that would be like a pretty profitable train. It's just it would take absolutely ages to get anywhere. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stuff we could probably ship over from Altoona to Allentown and back, so let's just see what's... Right, there's a couple of loads of passengers, might as well put down a car on that train. And then... yeah, do the reverse and don't put a dining car... Actually, let's do this properly. Put a dining car in... I've done this the wrong way around. These towns have 2 similar names, Altoona and Allentown. I know they're both... I know you're going to say, like, oh, they're completely different, but, you know, I'm from the UK, I'm not from the US, and the fact that they both begin with Al, it's quite easy to mix them up. New York to Williamsport. That's run out of water for some reason. I mean, there are water towers around here. But obviously we just need a... Where is Williamsport? Oh! Okay, there's no actual like maintenance and service between Williamsport and Newcastle. That's not good at all. Okay, well we'll build one over here. And we'll also actually build one over here. We'll build a maintenance there. Right. Any other trains that need water and stuff? Between New York and Burlington, yeah, that is a frickin' long way. I'm going to make that a Baldwin. One thing I did think as well is I might want to make this a stone bridge and then like double up this track. Although the traffic is actually very low. I mean, this is doubled up stone bridge and double up stone... Oh, that's not doubled up. That needs to be doubled up then, probably. Unfortunately, that would cost... Yeah, that costs a bit too much. I can't do that right now. Well, I can double up the bridge, but I've actually gone into negative cash. I don't know how that works exactly. Mexico and America end hostilities. I can't read the older newspapers because I've quit the game and reloaded it. Ministers from Andorra and Liechtenstein trade insults. Did the countries of Andorra and Liechtenstein even exist in 1848? They probably did, but I don't know. Right, so when I get a bit of money, then I will... Right, that's correct. Yeah, when I get a bit of money, I will double up the bridge that I was talking about. Gold in California. Gold found at Sutter's Mill. Gold fever hits the world. Passenger traffic up 50%. Wow. I mean, it was already pretty high, so assuming that does actually work correctly, it's not bugged in any way. Right, the gold rush has presented you with an opportunity. With your railroad, you can shave off weeks of travel to prospectors looking to get to California if you know how to capitalise on it. Spend $100,000 advertising increasing railway usage by 15%. I assume that just means passenger traffic. Spend $100,000 on steam technology and improve locomotive speed by 20%. Probably going to go with this one because I feel like there's probably enough passengers already. And the main problem at the moment is just simply that my trains are slow. I think there's actually enough passengers as it is. So, locomotive speed by 20%, that'll be pretty impressive, so I'm going to go with that. Because that should mean now that my Baldwins now have a top speed of 48 miles an hour, which is actually correct. And my Norrises have a top speed of 42. Yeah, so that's worked. I mean, a 20% speed increase is actually pretty big. So for a one-time fee of $100,000, make over $1 million just by issuing some stock. Right, let's I think I'll make that a stone bridge. That's not right. Yeah, make that a stone bridge, but leave it as a single track for now. And then double up this track. Yeah, double it up to Bridgeport, I suppose. Right. It's just because, you know, there's a lot of trains going from New York to Boston, Providence, Hartford, Bridgeport, etc. And that's just going to ease congestion. Alright, we will save the game. So, yeah, we've still got like 7.5 years to go, which is not a long time, but also you've got to consider that we've only been playing for like 8.5 years and we've already done like all this. Connecting to Waterbury is going to be a pain. I really don't know how I'm going to do that because there's a giant mountain wall over here. Is it possible I can maybe build like through here somehow? Or have I got to go maybe like maybe from Charlestown and then somehow build like through here and up here? I think whichever way I go is going to be a massive pain. I don't know how to connect to Charlestown either, because do I connect from Keene, which won't be easy, or do I connect from Manchester, which also won't be easy? Like, there's a sort of valley around here that runs this way, and there's a bit of flat land over here, but actually getting to either of those is not going to be easy. I think I counted that there's 10 cities plus Buffalo to connect to, although I've now connected to Altoona, so I'm not actually sure on that anymore. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to do that again because I think I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so there's 10 cities plus Buffalo, because I've still got to actually spend $1 million just to get into Canada. And then there's 3 cities in Canada to connect to. Might be a good idea to start trying to connect Albany to Utica, but that's not going to be easy because I tried to do that in the last parts and well, assuming I use a wooden bridge, not a stone bridge. Because the problem here is that there's this giant sort of cliff here, which means that coming out of Altoona I'm going to have a massive gradient, and then if I want to build the bridge, there's either going to be a gradient or like some kind of height difference. And then you just get stupid bridges like that, so... what I could do is the post office method and just try and build a load of post offices to sort of flatten the ground around here. I mean, I don't know if that's actually really done much. May as well keep one just to increase the mail in Albany itself. So it's still a bit of an incline, but not as bad as it was, maybe. Hang on. Probably about as good as it's going to get. The problem now is, how do I get out of here? Oh, the joys of this game and the ridiculousness of track laying in this game. Trying to work with very difficult terrain in this game is most of the challenge, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of fun because, like I say, you can actually create some pretty ridiculous track. I'm going to need more money for that anyway. Right, well, we'll leave that bit of track there. There's actually not much mail in Albany anyway. There are quite a few passengers, so let's build a hotel. I think hotels actually just create passengers anyway. May as well build a restaurant and a tavern. And that's actually got rid of the incline basically completely. Right, so obviously maybe we could connect Albany up to Utica, Syracuse, Rochester, and then Buffalo eventually. Buffalo being the last city we'll connect to. The other alternative is we go from Elmira to Rochester and Syracuse that way, and that is nicer looking terrain, to be honest. Although I don't know how I'm going to get out of here because that looks like a pretty nasty incline. I'm sure there's probably a way around this. That's not nice. I mean, I'm low on money anyway at the moment, but I'm just sort of experimenting with what's possible. Yeah, not the easiest thing in the world to do. If I sort of snake round, then I can get a decent incline. Excuse me. Well, unfortunately I'm now basically out of money, so I'm going to keep that bit of track at least. And then just try and maybe build from there. I need to actually figure out a way to connect to Charlestown, although there's like basically nothing there, so there's like no real sort of business reason to connect to it. And in a normal game you obviously wouldn't, so... Yeah, probably want to upgrade some of these older trains to old ones, to be honest. Because it is pretty cheap to upgrade them, so... And the Norrises that are quite old now, you know, even ones that are like only, say, you know, 7 or 8 years old, they're quite unreliable. And prone to crashing. Right. They've cut our salary, but I literally don't care. I don't understand why they cut the salary when the company profits were higher this last year than they were in 1847. That seems very silly to me, but whatever. Like I said, we're not bothered about net worth, so it doesn't matter. Okay, I think we probably do have enough money now to connect either Elmira to Syracuse or Albany to Utica. So let's save the game and see about trying to do that. Right, so we've got to navigate the potentially unnavigable, if that's even a word, incline. But I have faith that I can find something that will work. Okay, this is pretty nasty actually. Proving to be a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, even with quite a lot of money. Ooh, that's not good. There's no way around that 9% gradient. Excuse me. The other alternative is that I simply sort of build a massive bridge like that. That does solve a slight issue. One alternative would be to build... I was thinking I could build like through here. But then obviously you've got to deal with that big mountain there. So I think whatever I do, this is not going to be terribly nice, unfortunately. You see, I mean, that does work if you just ignore the fact that it's a disgusting incline. Oh, come on, there has to be a way that this works. Right. I had a tunnel there earlier that was actually kind of nice, and now I can't seem to be able to replicate it. Definitely want that. Is that really as good as it gets? Because I'm not a big fan of that 7 and 8% gradient. All this ridiculous slope here. I feel like this might be, good lord, this is probably really boring to watch, but that's just basically how this game works. I mean, if I just accept defeat, I can basically say, like, yeah, I made it, but the gradient's pretty horrible, it's like 7–8%, you know. I could probably flatten some of it with, like, water towers and post offices. Oh god, I seriously hope that gets flattened somehow. I might actually just leave it like that. Wow, this is... yeah, I don't know, man, that's pretty horrible. I don't have enough money to build a bridge? Yeah, I do. Okay. Right, I now have $0. That is... yeah. I mean, the Baldwin will probably be okay. But at the same time, I do want to sort of do something about that. And then I'm going to need a bit more money to get to Syracuse itself. I'm starting to wish I just started building from Albany, to be honest. I think that would have been simpler. I thought the Elmira-Syracuse route was going to be simpler, but that incline was horrible, especially with the river as well. You know, that was not nice. Anyway, let's let some time pass and hopefully I'll get some money. Also, I've got two opinions. One is, basically, when the game gets to, like, sort of December 1855, if I haven't already connected to Buffalo, just connect to Buffalo, and then I will get the gold medal. Although, probably do it before December 1855. So maybe, like, you know, June 1855, just put all my resources into connecting to Buffalo, and that way I will get the gold medal. But I might not actually pass the challenge of connecting to every city. So is it more important to connect to every city at the risk of losing the gold medal, or is it more important I get the gold medal and fail the challenge of connecting to every city? What I'm trying to say is that if I can't connect every city and Buffalo by January 1856, I don't know whether to just go for the gold medal, or do I connect to every city anyway? Connect to every city anyway and then get like a silver medal in the scenario? I kind of do want a gold medal on this, so I'm really not sure. Also, I just lost like $300,000 for some reason. Actually, I think every 3 months you have to pay like a bit in upkeep, so that could have been that. It could have been that. I don't think you pay upkeep like in January, because then you probably just go bankrupt. So I think it's like every 3 months. So that's probably why I just lost a bit, because it rolled over to June. But I digress. We have connected to Syracuse, and yeah, I'm going to want a large station here because I want to connect at least one of these farms, if not both. Don't think I can actually connect to both and get all the town in, so if I do that, then I've connected to Syracuse. These farms, in any case, there's a corn farm that's reasonably profitable, and a grain farm that's reasonably profitable. Lots of goods over here that we can ship over to Elmira and Binghamton. Actually, Syracuse is... bloody hell, Syracuse is good, isn't it? It's got nice goods market, grain market, mail, produce, passengers. Bloody hell, it's got loads of stuff. Alright, well, we'll do a train from Syracuse to Elmira. We'll do another one from Syracuse to Binghamton. And then, is it worth... yeah, we can do, like, a passenger train over to Scranton. Yeah, I didn't think Syracuse would be this profitable. And then the coal... well, the coal we could ship over to Scranton. There's some lumber in Scranton that we could get. And there's also some more passengers and produce and stuff. Wow, that is impressive. So maybe actually... ah, okay. Hang on. Yeah. Right. Wow. Okay, so Syracuse is very impressive. Right. And I've got almost $2 million. we can probably actually connect over to Rochester now. The ground around here is actually, by comparison, relatively flat, which is nice. Rochester looks like it's quite a decent city. I mean, it's got a tool and die, but... Oh, actually, it is profitable. Where's the iron coming from? There's quite a bit of iron in Watertown because of all the nearby iron mines. Iron's actually cheaper in Rochester. Well, actually, it's actually the same price. Okay. But there's also, like, iron mines just here and there. Iron mine near Allentown. But there's not actually any iron in Allentown, so... Right, let's, I suppose if nothing else, we'll probably just get passengers anyway. I mean, if I were playing the scenario normally, I would probably have enough money right now to just simply, you know, build a ridiculous track like this. Actually, that's not actually that ridiculous. And just build a large station in Buffalo, and that would be game 1 gold medal. But of course, I'm not playing the scenario normally, so I'm not doing that. Instead, I will connect over to Rochester, and hopefully there's some stuff over there that's actually worth connecting to. I mean, you know, hopefully there's stuff in Rochester that means that connecting to Rochester is actually worthwhile. Obviously I've got to do it anyway, but... Damn that. That didn't quite work how I was expecting it to. Alright, no problem. Bit of an incline there, but it does work. Right. Yeah, so basically now if I wanted to connect to Buffalo, it's actually really quite straightforward. The thing is, as well, is you never actually run a train to Buffalo, because as soon as you connect to Buffalo, the scenario just ends anyway, so... the track from Rochester to Buffalo really doesn't matter. It's kind of an example of Railroad Tycoon being a bit daft, because the station looks like it's actually on the track, but it is actually perfectly acceptable like that, apparently. Right, there's a lot of passengers in Rochester. Nobody wants to go to Rochester, so it's clearly not a very nice place to live. No offense to anyone from Rochester. But there's people wanting to leave Rochester to go to these 3 nearby cities, which is quite nice. So I might as well just build... Ooh, quite a lot of coal in Rochester that I can ship over to Elmira and Binghamton. A bit of mail... Quite a lot of goods I could ship from Syracuse over to... Well, actually, no. There's, like, no goods anymore in Syracuse because they're all on the way to Elmira. Right, but we might as well go Rochester to Binghamton. And I'm going to do dining car that way, no dining car that way. And I'm also going to do Rochester to Scranton the same way. No, not Rochester to Scranton, Rochester to Syracuse. That's what I meant. Where is Scranton anyway? It's over there. Yeah, there's actually not really... Well, a few passengers want to go over to there. There's quite a lot of cheap... Well, there's cheap lumber, but there's not actually any lumber in Scranton right now. There's a hell of a lot of passengers in Scranton. Bloody hell. Yeah, passengers right now is just ridiculous. Scranton to New York, like... Yeah, there's just loads of passengers. I mean, look at New York. There's 42 loads of passengers in New York. Where's Concord? Concord is over there. Because for some reason, people want to pay a lot of money to go from Concord, or from New York to Concord, or Portsmouth. Most people want to go from New York to Boston, obviously. But yeah, I think you know, we're going to make a lot of money in passengers. And, you know, that's basically because of the Gold Rush event. But also, you know, it's the 1840s, or nearly the 1850s. Munitions factories appeared for the first time near Edison, so that converts iron into ammunition. We actually want to make that a large station. I mean, it's right at the moment. It's literally right on the limit, whereby it's okay as a medium, but if it expands a bit further, it would need a large. Is there? I was going to say, is there a load of iron anywhere? Like, where could I get iron from? The only place with iron would be Elmira and Portsmouth, both of which are quite far away. But I mean, we could do a train from Elmira to Edison. Yeah, let's do Elmira to Edison. I don't really expect this to deliver much iron. I also don't expect the munitions factory to be profitable. One thing to note, actually, is that when 1850 rolls around, it might be January or it might be June 1850, we're going to get heavier wagon loads. They're going to be 20 tons instead of 10 tons. So trains will run slower, and therefore my Norrises will be probably quite useless. But the speed upgrade, I think, was a wise choice in that regard, because that will help alleviate the issue of the speed deficit. Let's connect over to Utica, or Utica. And again, there's actually a surprising amount of stuff in Utica. Bit of produce you can ship over from Syracuse. That's sort of naturally making its way down the river anyway. Quite a bit of clothing we could ship over to Rochester. Passengers want to go from Syracuse to Utica, so let's do a train from Utica to Syracuse. I think basically all trains now should really be Baldwins. I just realised I'm going to need maintenance and service, and I'm not sure if I built... No, I didn't build maintenance and service like round here. Did I build any round here? If I build a maintenance tower here, can I... That's perfect, that's exactly what I want. Ignoring the fact there's like an 11% gradient as soon as you enter the hill, which I don't quite understand. But that shouldn't be too much of an issue. And then the gradient is kind of the worst round here, so that didn't really do anything. Ooh, that actually made it a hell of a lot worse, actually. Huh. Problem is I don't actually know when I last saved the game. I was thinking I could reload the save, but I don't know when I last did it. I'm going to reload my save. I don't know when I last saved the game, so I might end up losing... Oh, okay, it's fine. Basically I just need to reconnect to Utica. Yeah, I just need to reconnect to Utica, basically. Did the Elmira train... Yeah, the Elmira to Edison train has to build that. So I just need to get some... yeah, maintenance and service once again. I build the... Maybe don't build it right on the hill, maybe build it around here. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, sorry for all the reloading of saves, but it seems the game is not quite wanting to cooperate with me. So if I build it right on the hill like that, that does flatten it, but it creates a... This is how stupid this game is. Like, you know, you move your maintenance facility like 1 pixel, and it's like you've just adjusted the timeline completely. So if I build it like that, why is it doing that? It was fine earlier. It was fine, and now it's not. Why? How did I build it? Because, you know, was it like... No, it wasn't that, for fuck's sake. Right, so it was on top of the hill, but you've got to get it, like, frame perfect. Is it because I'm building the maintenance facility first? Have I got to build the service tower first? Right. That's how I had it. So, let us save the game now. And that way, we've got how we had it before. But I think the thing is that by building the service tower, it flattened the hill ever so slightly, and then building the maintenance facility meant that I could just get a completely flat gradient there, or not completely flat, but, you know, very flat gradient. Why there's an 11% slope there, I don't know. I don't know if I can really do anything about it. I also don't know if it actually makes much of a difference. I might have to leave that 7%, 8% gradient there as it is. Because it seems like if I build maintenance and service around there, that's just going to cause issues. I could maybe build post offices and stuff that might help. Right, save the game. And carry on as normal. I need maintenance and service there. We've already got one there, that's fine. We're going to need one between Syracuse and Utica when we finally connect to those. There's not actually one between Elmira and Binghamton. So let's do that. I don't know if I actually have a train going from Elmira to Binghamton. But obviously there's no trains right now that like need water or oil or sand. So maybe I don't have a train between Elmira and Binghamton. Is there actually anything that I could... Yeah, I could do like a... Yeah. Probably a few passengers or something. Yeah. A little bit of stuff we can deliver. Right, I'm going to save the game once again. Now we finally connect to Utica and business is resumed as normal. Normal service is resumed. Excuse me. That's a bit of a large station, that way I can cover everything. I could probably get away with the medium, but it doesn't cover that one house. Okay, there's a lot of passengers in Utica. So yeah, Utica to Syracuse with a dining car. And the people that want to go... Yeah, well, no, actually there's not very many people that want to go to Utica from Syracuse. And we'll also do... Weird. We'll also do Utica to... I don't know how you pronounce it exactly, but I think it's Utica? Yeah. To Rochester. Right. I did not build a maintenance service. Ah, that's not good. economic recession. Hopefully that doesn't last very long. And also hopefully it doesn't turn into an economic depression. Because I think a depression would basically kill this challenge. So hopefully I can still make enough money as it is. Right, I think the next city I want to connect to was Charlestown. Unless I have enough money as it is to connect to Watertown, because I think Watertown could be quite good, because it is actually... It's next to a river, and it's actually not far from Cornwall and Kingston. Unfortunately, they're both in Canada, and I have to pay 1 million just to actually get into Canada. But I think Canada could actually be quite good, because those 3 cities actually seem like they're all probably quite good. The port in Kingston demands clothing, although there's not really clothing nearby. The closest would probably be Burlington. But connecting from Burlington... Well, actually, connecting from Burlington to Malone might not be too bad. If I can build up here and over that. Might need a tunnel. But failing that, I just go from, like, Syracuse to Watertown, and then over to Malone that way. And I was going to say I could even connect from, like, Utica to Watertown, but that actually is looking quite difficult. It's looking okay on this side, but then it's actually, like, getting from, like, Utica to about this bit here, looking a bit nasty. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a lot easier to go from Syracuse to Watertown than it is to go from, like, Watertown to Utica, or Utica to Watertown. But I think the next city to connect to is probably Charlestown, because I think that's probably the easiest. Although Charlestown, there's not really anything there. And I'm saying it's going to be the easiest, and then I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, how on earth do I get to Charlestown? I think Keene or Manchester connection, both are going to be difficult to do. The easiest way is to just tunnel through directly like that. That works, although 6% gradient in the tunnel is not ideal. That actually is better, that's a 5% gradient in the tunnel. And it also gives me better you know, it gives me like completely flat ground when I build the station. Although, I kind of want to avoid a tunnel if possible, but don't know if that's actually going to be possible, to be honest. Because the alternative is I do something like this, and this isn't looking like it's going to be very good either. It's looking like I'm going to need a tunnel. Or I just build from Manchester. I mean, that is pretty horrible. So that's Keene. If we start building from Manchester instead, and I don't know how I want to do this, but can I sort of snake my way around and build like that? Is that going to be possible? Now I'm thinking I need a tunnel. I need a tunnel to get through this little bit here. Or I'll just tunnel straight through that, but that does actually kind of work. It's just a very nasty entrance into the tunnel. That actually... That works. 5 and 6% gradient here, 2% through the tunnel. Is it at all possible that I then am able to... Well, I was going to say I wanted to kind of tunnel from Charlestown to Keene and then connect everything up that way, but that might not be doable. I mean, there's that ridiculous track, whatever that is. The engineering impossibilities of this game. I'm starting to think that Charlestown to Keene would have just... Keene to Charlestown would have just been a lot easier, but I'd have to accept the tunnel. I mean, that's actually quite a nice bit of track. So I think I'll just leave it like that. I really do want to connect Charlestown to Keene, because that opens up, you know, Springfield, Hartford, Bridgeport, and New York, etc. Although I don't think there's actually really anything in Charlestown itself. But this is not really looking very doable right now. If I had like about 1 million or so, I could maybe... Oh, hang on. Why does it not let me build a station? Ah, probably need a bit more track. No, I don't have enough for a large station. But I think I can get away with a medium. I think that covers the entire city, or town. Yeah. Okay, that's probably about as good as it's going to get. It's just unfortunate that connecting Charlestown to Keene is not really... I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just not easy by any stretch. And the other things in Charlestown, there is absolutely no freight at all. There's some passengers that want to go from Charlestown to Manchester, or actually Manchester to Charlestown. Quite a lot of people want to go from Charlestown to Boston. What about Lowell? Actually, Lowell's looking like it needs a large station. Yeah. Lowell needs a large station. Worcester probably needs a large station as well. Manchester is actually looking fine. Right, let's do... I didn't build a train. Let's do Charlestown to Manchester. Hopefully there's something we can actually deliver. Bit of meat, bit of milk, some goods, some clothing, a bit of corn. Yeah. So let's do Charlestown to Manchester. And put a dining car on. It's not going to be a very profitable train, and you know, under normal circumstances, there'd be basically no reason to connect to Charlestown. That might have made the gradient slightly worse, because that's now 5% around there, and I don't know what it was before, but oh well. Just have to live with it, I suppose. Also, remember we are in an economic recession, so that's not going to be fun. I hope that ends soon. We still actually made record profit though, to be fair. So. Alright, we've actually got the first named train. Average speed of 22 miles an hour. That's actually pretty fast. Between New York and unknown. New York and Burlington. Oh wow! That's actually really good because that's a long way. But I suppose, to be fair, there's probably not many trains coming in and out of Burlington. Did I ever build a train here? No, I still don't actually have a train going using Poughkeepsie at all. So let's get a train from Poughkeepsie to New York. Yeah, we've got the bigger wagon loads now. So, the Baldwin is still okay on hills, but it's still reasonably powerful. But the Norris is probably gonna... Yeah, the Norris is just not good anymore at pulling things. How many Norrises do we actually have? We've actually got 22 Norrises. No, we've got 25 Baldwins. Yeah, so it cost $990,000 to upgrade all Norrises to Baldwins. Let's just do, like, the really old ones. Rather, let's just do as many as we can. There we go. Right. Yeah, because the Norris is just not really good anymore. Sudden influx of cash is very welcome. Right. So the recession doesn't seem to be hitting us that badly, because we're still making quite a lot of money. I do want to connect Utica to Albany, but I think the next thing to do is to connect over to Watertown. How do I want to do that? Well, we've actually got a bit of track here on this side of the river anyway, so we don't need to build another bridge. It's reasonably flat round here. So getting over to Watertown is actually really easy. Getting to Malone actually is going to be quite difficult. There is a sort of flat bit round here. The other alternative is I keep going this way and then try and get up this mountain slope, but I don't think that's going to be easy. So let's, first things first, build a station in Watertown. I kind of want to get something going like that, or that, but that's not going to be easy. Let's just destroy this bit of track that I literally just built. And then... that is a lot better, actually. That covers more of the town, or the city. Right, there's a lot of stuff in Watertown. Goods, passengers, logs, coal, iron that is not actually possible to be shipped unless we ship it to, like, yeah, it can't really be shipped. Best bet would be to ship it over to Albany if we manage to connect Albany to Utica. But yeah, basically we want to go from Watertown to Syracuse and Rochester. I think there's maintenance and service on both of those journeys. Excuse me. Well, there's maintenance and service over there. There's no maintenance and service over here. So let's build maintenance and service around here. What farms around here? Which is good, because obviously they should be absorbed by Syracuse. Maybe, I don't know. Right. So, we've got just under 6 years to still get gold. We still need to connect to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities, plus Buffalo itself. and I hope I haven't actually missed anything out there. I can't see anything. Yeah, connecting to Waterbury is going to be a pain. Connecting to Malone is going to be a pain. Unless I go from Burlington. Yeah, this is the thing just telling us that, you know, carloads have become twice as big, meaning that trains don't run as quickly, but also you can't charge more for the bigger carloads. It really does stink, but obviously there's nothing you can do about it, so... all you can really do is just get more powerful trains. Can't issue stock. To be fair, I actually really like the look of the 1850s train load. It's like the iconic Railroad Tycoon 3 train load for me, because I think sort of a lot of scenarios are between 1850 and 1900. Either that or like you know, it's quite a lot that's like sort of 1900 to 1950. I'm not a big fan of the post-1950 train loads, because they just sort of look too big and bulky somehow, I don't know. Actually, I was thinking that these would need large stations, but they're actually alright as they are. There was somewhere that needed a large station. Yeah, Lowell could do a large station. And then that covers the meat plant. Manchester is actually okay with just the medium for now. Charlestown we obviously only just connected. Charlestown is actually basically only, what, like 2 houses? Is that it? How on earth is it getting goods? I suppose they're making it from Lowell, maybe, but I don't know. Keene is fine with just a medium station. Oh yeah, I was thinking of, I was going to connect Keene over to Lowell, but no, that's not right, is it? Keene to Charlestown, but that might not be doable. It's like I can get halfway, but then I can't quite make the connection without some kind of disgusting gradient. You know, like, I'm okay with a tunnel like that, for example, but then I can't actually build out of here unless I maybe like destroy this section of track. But then I can't actually do anything with that without having a horrible gradient. And also I think because I've gone from lay track to no fudge. Now I can't actually build out of that now. Well, fudge. Alright, I'm gonna reload the save. God damn it, this is just a load of reloading saves. Oh, actually, I've lost, ah! Fudge. Okay, right, we've got to reconnect to Watertown. So, yeah. I forgot to save. Right, I've got to reconnect to Watertown, and, I don't remember what else. Yeah, I've got to reconnect to Watertown, build some trains and stations and stuff like that. Whoopsie! I forgot to save. I'm a bit of a silly biddy. Oh dear. Oh well, hopefully I can do it relatively straightforward. Right, how's that? There we go. And the gradient is fine. Right. We already have maintenance and service between Syracuse and Rochester, so let's just build it over here. Between Syracuse and Watertown. And then do Watertown to Syracuse, like so. And Watertown to Rochester, like that, with the dining car on that one. Bish bash bosh. Job's done. Now I'll save the game. And yeah, we've got more powerful locomotives, heavier wagon loads, blah blah blah, we know. So, yeah, yeah, Charlestown really wasn't worth connecting to. Oh yeah, I need to make that large station. Worcester, yeah, make that a large station. It could probably stay. It could probably have stayed as a medium, but we'll make it large. Right, let's just do some random trains, like Lowell to Charlestown. Yeah, so we've got Charlestown to Manchester, and now we've got Charleston to Lowell. And let's do Worcester to Charleston, or Charlestown. There's not really much I can ship over from Portsmouth. Concord. Yeah. Right, Worcester to Charlestown. Waiting for track to clear. Oh, do I need to double ups on this track? Yeah, maybe. That should be okay. Just a little bit of doubling up to alleviate some traffic around Worcester and Lowell, because they're quite big cities now. Probably quite a few trains running through and running to and from them and just through them. Right, big load of money just came in. Let's save the game. So, obviously we still need to connect to Malone and Waterbury, and they're going to be the real pain in the arses. Especially Waterbury, because, you know, as I keep saying, it's just completely surrounded by mountains. I've got no idea how I'm going to connect to that. Saying that, Charleston wasn't exactly easy either. I'm annoyed that I can't really connect from Keene to Charlestown. That is really annoying me. I don't want double track, actually. I feel like there has to be a way. There has to be something that would work. Without giving me, like, an absolutely ridiculous gradient or something. You know, I mean, what on earth is that? Like, why on earth would I accept that as my track? Well, it has given me an idea that maybe if I start building this way... I don't know. Is it not possible to build something over here? Try and avoid the bridge if possible, simply because it can give me a pretty nasty gradient if I'm not careful. It's a good thing I've got loads of money. But then the question is how do I actually get up to Charlestown? And actually, if I could find a way to get down from Charlestown, not just connect up to Keene from Charlestown, but connect Charlestown to Waterbury. Okay. Let's see if we can connect Charlestown to Waterbury, because obviously I need to connect to Waterbury. I feel like there has to be a way somehow to get there. Preferably one that doesn't also involve a ridiculous gradient. Jesus, this is ridiculous. Like, this video is 1 hour and 21 minutes, and I've done 2.5 in-game years, and most of my time has just been spent building absolutely obscene track to get to these silly little cities that in normal circumstances you would have absolutely no reason to connect to. And on that note, I somehow managed to make it to Waterbury with some pretty horrific track. I mean, what is this? But I don't see any way around that. This is largely okay until you get to about here. So a way make that better. That's good. That's good. Okay. So obviously I'm limited by I can't build unconnected track, but I can always just accept the track, delete some of it, and then reconnect it, and then try and build it that way. So there's a maximum of like. And also sometimes if you build track one way, it ends up looking better than if you build it the other way. So there's a maximum gradient of about 7%, which I'm not terribly happy with, but I'll accept it. Ooh. Okay, I think I've managed to make maximum gradient 8% for like one square. Otherwise, this is actually looking pretty good. Now I can't reconnect these. Okay, but if I build a maintenance, then that makes that better, but then that worse. Now I'm completely out of money. I don't know when I last saved the game either. Huh. Alright, well, let's just get some money in. I think I'm probably going to have to leave it like that. I think that's probably about as good as it's going to be. Oh god. I'm being so fussy over something that doesn't really matter, because I just want to make sure I get it, like, as good as it can be. But it really doesn't matter, because I think the Baldwin will be fine anyway. And also, you really have to question, like, how much is this track actually going to be used? How much stuff are we actually going to ship to and from Waterbury? Oh god, I might just have to accept defeat, to be honest. So there's a maximum gradient of like 6-7% round there. It's literally just that bit there. I don't think it can really get any better, unfortunately. The rest of it's okay. Obviously it's, you know, quite steep in places, but we made it to Waterbury. Getting from Waterbury to Burlington would actually be quite difficult, so I think I probably made the right decision to connect from Manchester and Charlestown over to Waterbury. I don't know if, like, I mean, a medium station will work over here, and now there's a bit of an incline when you leave the station, which I can fix, sort of, with maintenance and service. Probably not a good idea to build it right next to the station, but I think it'll be fine. Wow, Manchester will pay a very good price for this pulpwood, because there's a paper mill here that's really in demand of the pulpwood from Waterbury, and also logs, passengers. There's actually some people who want to go from Burlington to Waterbury. I mean, even though they're right next to each other, getting to and from each other would be very difficult because you have to go over the mountains, so I can kind of see why. But anyway, yeah, so Waterbury to Manchester is actually... Wow, that's hugely profitable. And that's with no passengers either, so... Yeah, we'll do a secondary train. It's exactly the same, and that can have the dining car. Nobody actually wants to go... Yeah, other than Burlington, nobody wants to go to Waterbury, and there's nothing else in Waterbury. You know, we're going to need like a water tower over here. That should be okay. Right, so let's save the game. And yeah, I'm not happy with the track, but at the same time, considering the fact that simply getting to Waterbury itself was actually a big challenge, I think that's actually turned out okay. Because I thought Waterbury would be like basically impossible to get to, without some kind of ridiculous tunnels and gradients and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. We still made actual like record profits, even in an economic recession. Oh wow, my credit rating's actually increased to A, so I could actually maybe take out some bonds, although the prime rate is 8% because we're in a recession. It would be 5% if we were in boom, 6% in prosperity, 7% in normal, 8% in recession. So, with a credit rating of A, we would only be able to get bonds at 10% anyway, so probably better off just waiting for better economy, and then, well, assuming we actually get out of the recession before the scenario ends. And also we might end up with a better credit rating then anyway, so yeah, just wait. Right, I need to buy into Canada, but before I do that, obviously yeah, I need to buy into Canada and connect those 3 cities up. The final American city besides Buffalo is Malone. Do I also want to connect Utica to Albany? Yes, I do. Is that going to be easy? No, it's not. But then again, it is connecting to Malone from Watertown going to be easy? Maybe. It depends how it depends how easy it is to get up this slope, and I imagine it's probably actually relatively straightforward. Sort of probably build along this side of it. Yeah, there's a tiny bit of 4%, but that's no big deal. Yeah. That works. Oh, God. That doesn't really. There we go. Right, so Malone is pretty small. I can almost get a small station to cover the whole place. But I've managed to do it. I mean, this bit of track is technically unnecessary. I've managed to do it with a maximum incline of like 5% in a few places, but other than that, it's basically flat. And no need to connect like Burlington to Malone, which would have been actually probably pretty difficult, because I'd have to build like basically up this mountain, and then like, yeah, it would maybe work, but it's not worth it. There's not really anything in Malone anyway, just a couple of passengers that want to go to Burlington, for fuck's sake. Well, coming from Burlington, they want to go to Syracuse, Watertown, yeah. So we'll do Malone to Watertown, and then is there anything in Syracuse that we could ship over? Bit of grain, bit of corn actually. Yeah, let's do Syracuse to Malone. Right, and I'm going to need maintenance and service, because I didn't build any. Alright, and once again save the game. Okay, so we've got 5 years left, but there's not a lot to do now. Just got to buy into Canada, connect these 3 cities up, and then connect to Buffalo. I'm going to buy into Canada now. I'm going to save the game as well. Right, so connecting to Kingston should be pretty straightforward. Oh, we've got, bloody hell, average speed is 27 miles an hour. The earlier one was 22 miles an hour. I mean, it's going from Malone to Watertown. It's not having to deal with other trains, and it is actually mostly downhill if you go that way. And also the Baldwin with the speed increase does have an average speed, or top speed of 48 miles an hour, so that's, yeah, that's a pretty fast train. But anyway, still can't issue stop. So let's connect over to Kingston, and Kingston actually looks like it's a quite sizable city, which is nice. Not like that. How do I want to connect to Cornwall? Do I do Cornwall to Kingston, which is long distance and flat, or do I do sort of a branch line from over here? But then that's... nah, I'd have to build a bridge that way. So, Kingston to Cornwall. And I will need a large station for that, but actually building a large station isn't going to be that easy. Although I can build one like that, and that does cover the whole of Cornwall. Cornwall, Canada, not Cornwall, the UK. Wow, there's a lot actually in Cornwall. Is there anything over there? No. There's nothing over here. There's nothing really over there, but we'll build it like that. That's kind of messed up my track slightly, but... Wow, there's a hell of a lot of lumber and logs and just all-round stuff in Kingston. So yeah, seems like Canada's actually a pretty worthwhile place to go. Because obviously there's this river, so stuff travels downriver. And this fully upgraded port does demand lumber. Actually, how's the ammunition factory doing? It's not produced a single load. Well, it's produced 0.2 loads a year, because there's just simply not enough iron. And also there's no demand for ammunition. So even if it produced the ammunition, it's got nowhere to go. So it's actually kind of a completely pointless resource. There's also demand for weapons, but there's nowhere that produces weapons. I could build a weapons factory, but I don't know how you actually make weapons in 1851 in this map. Because if I need steel, then that's a big problem, because I don't have any way to build a steel mill, nor is there any steel even on the map. If I can build them straight out of iron, then we basically face the same problem as we do with the ammunition, but, you know, I'd have to ship iron over to somewhere. So, ammo and munitions exist, but they're basically completely pointless in this map. Troops, they're not a thing on this map either. It's not a military map, it's a lot of passengers and a lot of freight, but not, like, military cargo. I have $4,000, that's not good. Lumber is extremely expensive in Kingston, because of the port. And we can... Actually, it's kind of expensive all over the place. Yeah, there's nowhere that's really, like, cheap for lumber. Lumber's just kind of expensive everywhere. The best place to ship it from would be Newcastle or Williamsport. Or Cornwall. There's quite a bit actually in Cornwall. As for passengers and stuff, people want to go from Cornwall and Watertown to Kingston, which is handy because they're obviously right next to each other. I think basically just do like local routes, you know, like Watertown, Kingston, Cornwall, Kingston. Malone, probably not really worth it. Syracuse, Kingston, that sort of stuff, you know. And there's also Oshawa. I don't know if that Oshawa is different to Ottawa, or if there's actually like an Ottawa and an Oshawa. I feel like Ottawa's not actually... No, Ottawa's like not down there, is it? It's more north. Okay. So Watertown to Kingston, I actually did that entirely accidentally. I just sort of clicked in the general area and it landed on Watertown. Cornwall to Kingston. And Syracuse to Kingston. Which is currently waiting for the track to clear. So maybe just double this up, because this might actually be quite busy. Might be worthwhile if I have enough money to actually change that to a stone bridge, I don't know. Some of these wooden bridges should probably be stone bridges, but which ones? I don't know. I do still want to connect Albany over to Utica, because I think, like, Albany could be quite useful. It's got a lot of passengers, and they do want to go to Utica, Syracuse, Rochester. But for now, I think I'll just connect over to Oshawa. See how much that costs. Then when I get some money, I'll think about connecting Albany to Utica, but that won't be easy because the terrain is going to be pretty hilly and horrible. There's there a way to do this without a giant slope? And a nasty incline? Ooh, okay. Right, how's that? Okay, that creates like really nasty track over there, but it is completely unnecessary. Yeah, we were just deleting all this. And then that is all of Ashara connected, but there's a hell of a lot of passengers that want to go to Watertown and Kingston. It's Kingston, not Kingstown. There's also a lot of meat and just general stuff we can ship over. So I'm going to need maintenance and service over there and over here. And then over here. And then... Oops. That's a lot of passengers. Right, so yeah, even though it costs 1 million to get into Canada, actually building in Canada is going to be very profitable. I think, to be fair, now, because I've got the gold rush, and also because it's like the 1850s, there's just so many passengers that I'm just making enormous profits. So, in actuality, the only city left to connect to is Buffalo. I've connected to every other city on the map. But saying that, I do still want to connect Albany to Utica. Because the traditional route that I normally do, and I think I did this last time I played this scenario on video, which was like my first or second Railroad Tycoon video, back in like early 2016. You basically go Boston, and I think this is what you're meant to do, Boston, Providence, Bridgeport, New York, and then probably Edison if you wanted to. And then from New York, Poughkeepsie, Albany, Utica, Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, and then as soon as you connect to Buffalo the scenario ends. But I do want to connect up Albany to Utica, because that will be very profitable. Not that I obviously need a profit, because as I just said, I can basically just connect to Buffalo now when the scenario ends and I get a gold medal. But hopefully I can do this reasonably quickly and easily. Okay. Ignoring the stupid gradient on the entrance, that tunnel would have actually been okay. You know what? I'm actually going to accept that. Because that is a perfectly flat gradient tunnel, with very nice track coming into it, and then very nice track coming out of it, so that is actually really good. I'm going to accept that. Just cancel out of the track builder menu and... And there you go. Albany is now connected to Utica. And from that... yeah, we can get a train from Albany to Utica with a lot of passengers. Probably Utica to Albany as well. There's actually not that many passengers, but... Yeah, Utica to Albany and... You know, a lot of mail, actually. Oh, we could do Albany to Syracuse as well. In regards to mail, there's no mail that wants to go from Albany, but there is some mail from, like, a bit of all over the place. That kind of... Yeah, there's not that much mail, to be honest. Here we go. Yeah, if you look at passengers, there's about There's about as many undeliverable loads as there are deliverable loads, which I don't really understand when you consider the only city that we haven't actually connected to is Buffalo. But it could be, like I said before, it's like if you wanted to go from, you know, Lowell to Boston, you have to go through Worcester. Maybe it's that, but then I don't see how you could ever have 0 undeliverable loads not shown on the map. Unless you just somehow manage to have every city connected to every other city without going through another city, but that seems impossible on like 99% of maps. I don't know. I don't know how the game works exactly, but it's interesting that there are 251 loads of passengers that are deliverable, 221 that are undeliverable, whereas the mail, there are more deliverable than undeliverable, like passengers, but it's about, you know, a third of the amount of passengers. Because obviously we've had bonuses to the amount of passengers, but not necessarily bonuses to the amount of mail. I should probably build more hotels and restaurants and stuff, but seeing as the scenario is basically over anyway, I don't think that's strictly necessary. Let's go Albany to Syracuse. What about Albany to Rochester, actually? Is there much demand for that? Yeah, we could do that. Right, so... amazingly, we're actually still in an economic recession, but we are making big profit. Right, all that's left to do now is basically to connect Rochester up with Buffalo, and I'm not going to be that bothered about the track over here, seeing as soon as I connect to Buffalo, the scenario basically ends and I've completed the challenge with a gold medal. And I also get an extra $100,000 just simply for connecting to Buffalo. Are you fucking serious? Like, is there actually no way to get a station that has the entire city of Buffalo in here? Well, yeah, but then obviously that bridge becomes completely unnecessary. Boston and Buffalo link to the future. New York Central ties Boston and Buffalo together. So I've probably got to unpause the game before I actually win the scenario. Yeah, it doesn't say anything else, you know. And there you go. To be quite honest, when I came up with this challenge, I didn't actually know how difficult it would be. I thought I could get a gold medal, but I thought it was going to be more challenging than it actually proved to be. Because by the end of that, you know, you saw I was making like over $5 million company profit, so money wasn't an issue, especially because you don't bother with personal net worths. You don't have to pay dividends and you can just issue stock whenever you want. So the speed increase definitely helped as well, you know, because these Baldwins are pretty powerful and speedy. But I think this was a nice little fun challenge. It certainly adds an extra bit of challenge to an otherwise easy scenario, whilst not making it particularly difficult. It makes it a lot harder. The main difficulty really is not actually, you know, making profit and actually connecting to the cities themselves. It's finding a way to build track that isn't absolutely ridiculous, which I guess is, you know, it comes under the category of connecting to the cities themselves, and I did basically say that isn't the difficult part. But, you know, what I mean is by that is that money isn't the issue. The issue is actually working with the game engine to actually allow you to build track that isn't obscenely ridiculous. But anyway, if we actually look, we've managed to have 2,855 miles of track, and I think just for reference, at the end of part 1, I did check off screen, and I think we had about 1,600, so, you know, it's almost doubled from like part 1 to part 2, which is fair. We still actually have, technically, just under 4 years left. But I basically I actually really enjoyed this challenge. I'm glad that I came up with this, and I think doing it this way is a lot more fun than doing the scenario by default. And I would recommend basically anybody who really likes this game and is also actually, you know, reasonably competent at the game, basically, you know, try this challenge. You know, I came up with it myself. It wasn't like, oh, I watched a Let's Play video and I thought, oh yeah, like this guy's done this, I'm just blatantly copying his challenge. No, I came up with it myself. It's not terribly original, you know, I'm sure loads of people have probably done this challenge before. But yeah, if you're reasonably competent and you like Railroad Tycoon, why not give it a go yourself? You know, play Go West on hard mode, try and connect every city on the map, including the ones in Canada, and simultaneously do it all before 1856 and get a gold medal. You never know, you might be able to do it faster than I did. Sure, I probably made a few mistakes, like not buying enough industries, not buying enough hotels. You know, maybe buying some farms and breweries might have helped me. I say breweries, I'm not even sure if alcohol's... No, alcohol's not even a thing on this map. A lot of produce, so you could build some distilleries, I suppose. And there is actually a distillery in New York, so... why it's not making any money, I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. There is, there's produce, and there's grain, and there is alcohol production, but I suppose the only demand for alcohol is actually in New York, so, and just like general houses, so for whatever reason, alcohol's not the market in this map, or at least it wasn't for me. Maybe that's the seed I got, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, that concludes the Go West Connect All Cities challenge. I do want to play more Railroad Tycoon in the future. I do want to play Railroad Tycoon more in the future, because I definitely enjoy this game. Whether I'm just going to play, you know, regular Railroad Tycoon 3 campaign, because like I say, my save did delete itself, or not delete itself. My save was not backed up, it was deleted, so it's now gone. But like I say, I'm now playing the Steam, no pun intended, version of the game. So I do basically need to go through the campaign. If you want me to do the campaign on record, then I will, and I'd be perfectly happy to do that. If you also come up with some extra challenges for me, besides obviously just doing the campaign on hard anyway, then let me know. Obviously, you know, for a lot of maps, connecting every city on the map is just impossible. And I don't just mean that as being, you know, it's very difficult. I mean, it's actually impossible because you probably just don't have enough track, like, or time. Because things like the Central Pacific map, obviously you've got to deal with a lot of mountains, because of the Rocky Mountains, but you also have limited track. And then you get maps where there's like, you know, you've got to buy into territory that is either impossible, extremely expensive, or whatever. So connecting to every city on every map is not doable. Not for me, anyway. It might be possible for, you know, some professional veteran Railroad Tycoon 3 player, but not for me. But I think, obviously I want to get gold on every map. And of course I'm playing on hard. But, you know, maybe you could come up with some kind of extra challenge to do with, like, company book value, or industry profit, or... Not personal net worth. Not personal net worth, because I hate personal net worth. Personal net worth involves playing with the stock market and, you know, like, buying out extra companies. It's a lot of extra work. It's something that I'm not very good with. I kind of enjoy it, but, like, it can go so wrong so quickly if you don't know what you're doing, which I don't, and, you know, I don't like scenarios with personal net worth. They're generally ones that I don't get gold medals on. But yeah, I mean, if anybody comes up with an interesting challenge, then I'll take it on and give it a go. But I think other than that, I think I've basically waffled on long enough. So, obviously, more Railroad Tycoon 3 hopefully to come in the future, but I haven't actually decided what I want to do. There are still some official scenarios that I haven't got gold medals on video that I want to do. And also just scenarios that I might want to do again, because they're good fun. I haven't done them in a long time. Hopefully I can get gold medals on Expert or Hard or whatever. And also there's like a couple of fan-made scenarios that I've not recorded, but I think generally fan-made scenarios are very difficult. And if you don't know the scenario, which, you know, chances are I won't, you're not going to do very well. But also fan-made scenarios can be really enjoyable if they're really well made. But then there's also some fan-made scenarios that are not as good, in my opinion, as some of the others. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough, so I'll just close it here and say thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed this video and part 1 of this challenge. Take care, folks, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that is. Bye-bye.